We all agreed. You're not welcome at Christmas, Mom snapped. So I cut the utilities, canceled their feast, and let the half-cooked turkey chill. By midday, their SOS texts started flooding in. Oh, you are not going to believe what happened last Christmas. I mean, you think you know your family, right? You think you know where you stand. But for me, it all came crashing down in a single, gut-wrenching moment on my mother's porch when I overheard them call me convenient instead of family. I was driving up to my mom's place in Greenville, same as I always do for Christmas. That drive from Athens always felt like stepping back in time, all warm and nostalgic. I had homemade gingerbread, cookies tucked under one arm, and a stack of beautifully wrapped presents under the other. The house, this old Victorian that's been our family home forever, looked absolutely perfect. White lights outlining every window, smoke curling from the chimney, the giant wreath my dad bought 20 years ago adorned with pine cones I collected. From the outside, it was a postcard, pure magic. But when I got to the porch, those familiar creaking boards, the one near the railing where Dad spilled paint, the third step from the bottom, they felt different that night. It was just last spring that I'd paid $7,200 out of my own savings for a new roof, the one that kept the rain from soaking into the attic where Mom keeps all our childhood memories. And then I heard voices drifting through the partially open living room window where everyone was gathering before dinner. My mom's voice, clear as a bell, followed by my Uncle Vernon. And then Monroe, my cousin, giggling. We all agreed she's not welcome this Christmas. The words hit me like a physical blow. My hands tightened around the cookie tins so hard my knuckles went white. Then Uncle Vernon, in that practical tone he uses at the bank, chimed in, just keep her on the mortgage, though. Monroe laughed again. She'll keep paying even if we don't invite her. That's just how Noah is. I stood there, frozen, the festive wrapping on my gifts suddenly feeling garish and foolish. Then Mom's voice, casual, like she was discussing the weather, delivered the final stab. She's not family. She's just convenient. It all flashed back to me, for years earlier, sitting in Carolina First Bank, my pen hovering over those cosigner papers for Mom's mortgage refinance. Uncle Vernon, standing behind her, a hand on her shoulder, explaining how this arrangement would save the family home after Dad's medical bills. Mom, her eyes welling up, whispering, "You're saving this family." I felt this rush of pride. Finally being the daughter they needed. "This is your home too," she promised. I never asked for anything in writing. We were family, right? Family doesn't work that way. The signs had been there, subtly at first. The group text about Christmas planning? Never landed on my phone this year. When I asked Mom about it 2 weeks ago, her response came hours later. "We figured you'd be busy this year." Monroe? No response. I should have recognized the pattern from last Christmas when I arrived to find 11 place settings at a table for 12. I ended up eating from a paper plate in the kitchen, catching snippets of laughter from the dining room. But now here I was, standing on the porch, clutching gifts for the very people who were discussing my exclusion. My fingers tingled with the cold. Then my phone vibrated in my coat pocket. A calendar reminder. Mortgage payment minus $1,442 tomorrow. The same amount I'd paid every month for 4 years for them. A small glass angel ornament, an extra gift I'd brought for the tree, slipped from my numb fingers. It shattered against the porch step, a sharp, final sound in the quiet night. Inside, the voices stopped. "Did you hear something?" Monroe asked. I took a slow step backward, away from the splintered glass. But instead of running, instead of tears, something shifted inside me. My shoulders straightened. I turned, deliberately, and walked to my car. No running, no tears. Not yet. The screen of my phone glowed, a stark reminder of that $1,442 scheduled payment. The Christmas lights of the house, my house, according to the bank, reflected in my rearview mirror as I pulled away. They had made their choice. Now it was time for me to make mine. The next day, my kitchen table looked like a battlefield of paper. For years of financial statements, each page a month of my life converted to numbers. My hands trembled as I totaled the final column, $69,216. Nearly $70,000 poured into a house where I wasn't welcome. A house where my mother, my Uncle Vernon, and my cousin Monroe casually discussed my banishment. I pushed back from the table, the chair scraping against the tile floor of my Athens apartment. Outside, neighbors were putting up twinkling lights. Inside, I was systematically dismantling the fiction of my family. The warranty deed lay in the center of it all. I'd found it online last night in the county records. My name was conspicuously absent, despite being on every single mortgage statement. Uncle Vernon's banking expertise at its finest, keeping me financially responsible while legally powerless. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. Did you make it home safe last night? The sheer audacity stole my breath. Did she care? After planning my Christmas exclusion, I pulled out my utility folder. Electricity, gas, internet, insurance, all in my name. The pattern was nauseatingly clear. Every essential service, every financial burden, carried by the daughter they found. Convenient, but not family. My laptop screen showed my banking portal. The cursor hovered over Cancel Automatic Payment for tomorrow's $1,442 transfer. Her voice replayed in my mind. She's not family, she's just convenient. For years flashed before my eyes. Eating alone in the kitchen last Christmas, my absence from family photos, the group texts that somehow never included me. My finger trembled. Then, I clicked. Are you sure you want to cancel this automatic payment? Never have 6 words carried such weight. I clicked again. For years of obligation ended in an instant. The office coffee tasted bitter the next day, but then Amelia, a colleague, brought me a peppermint mocha. She just set it on my desk, her eyes lingering on my face. Rough Christmas season? She asked, perching on the edge of my desk. I just shrugged, not trusting my voice. You look like I did 2 years ago, she said, when I stopped talking to my sister. My head snapped up. Amelia. Confident, always smiling, estranged from her family? She borrowed $30,000 for a business that never existed, Amelia continued. When I asked for it back, she told everyone I was trying to ruin her life. Something cracked open in my chest. My mother has me paying for a house I'm not allowed to visit for Christmas, I blurted out. It was the first time I'd spoken the truth aloud. Amelia didn't gasp or offer platitudes. She just nodded. James in accounting went through something similar. His parents took out credit cards in his name. He might have some advice. By afternoon, James was sitting across from me, explaining cosigner rights I never knew existed. They need your signature to refinance or sell, he said. That's leverage they never told you about. What about the utilities? I asked. Those you can cancel anytime. They're solely in your name. The crushing weight that had been on my chest began to lift. Options materialized where before I'd only seen obligation. That evening, my neighbor Eleanor knocked with a plate of snickerdoodles. You seemed upset when you came home that night, she said. Everything okay? I invited her in, surprised when she accepted. We sat at my kitchen table, cleared of statements, but still heavy with their revelations. My family situation is complicated, I admitted. Eleanor smiled. Whose isn't? Listen, if you don't have plans. For Christmas, a few friends are coming over, nothing fancy. You're welcome to join. A place at a table. An invitation freely given. The contrast to my family's calculated exclusion brought stinging tears that I blinked away. Thank you, I said. I might take you up on that. After Eleanor left, I made a list. Every utility, every service connected to that house with my name. Attached, electricity, gas, water, internet, insurance. Each represented years of financial support. While being emotionally shut out, I calculated the disconnection dates, arranging them in a precise pattern. Each service would end on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, between 6 o'clock and 7. p.m. The hour when my family traditionally gathered for dinner. The dinner I wasn't welcome to attend. My email to my mother was 3 sentences long. I've decided to stop financially supporting a home I'm not welcome in. All utilities in my name will be disconnected. This is effective. Immediately. I pressed send, closed my laptop, and slept through the night without waking once. The next day, my phone buzzed for the 17th time. I knew because I'd been counting. My mother's name lit up the screen, a photo from happier times, her birthday 3 years ago when I surprised her with tickets to her favorite band. I silenced it without answering. You can't just walk away from responsibility, Noah. Her latest text glowed beneath 16 others, each more desperate than the last. This affects all of us. I placed my phone face down and turned back to my laptop, where the spreadsheet of my contributions stared back at me. For years of mortgage payments. $69,216. New roof, $7,200. HVAC system, $5,400. Appliances, $2,850. The numbers didn't lie. Unlike family. The phone buzzed again. Uncle Vernon this time. Noah, this is serious. There are legal implications. You don't understand. Call me immediately. Legal implications? Coming from the man who structured the mortgage so carefully, the bank manager uncle who explained how this arrangement would protect everyone while actually protecting only my mother. I saved the message as evidence. My doorbell rang, startling me. Through the peephole, I saw James, my financial advisor, his leather portfolio tucked under his arm. Thanks for coming to me, I said, opening the door. I appreciate it. James settled at my kitchen table, spreading documents between us. As cosigner, you have rights they never explained to you. His finger traced a clause on the mortgage agreement. You own half this property on paper, regardless of what they've told you. The revelation settled in my chest like a stone. But my name isn't on the deed. That's the problem. James tapped the document. They deliberately kept you off the deed while putting you on all the liability. Classic case of financial exploitation. The word landed hard. Exploitation. I'd been calling it family obligation, duty, love. Can they force me to keep paying? My voice sounded smaller than I intended. James shook his head. They can try, but no court would side with them once they see this pattern. You've paid for a home you were explicitly told you weren't welcome in. He helped me organize everything, every transfer, every repair invoice, every utility payment, into a single, damning file. When he left, the weight on my shoulders felt different. Not lighter, exactly. Redistributed. My phone rang again. Mother. This time I answered, pressing record first. Something Amelia suggested yesterday. Noah Elizabeth Wynne. Her voice cut sharp as a blade. You've put us in an impossible position, the mortgage company called. Hello to you too, Mom. Don't get smart with me. After all we've done for you. The words stopped me cold. Something shifted inside my chest, a tectonic plate moving after years of pressure. What exactly have you done for me, Mom? Silence. Thin and brittle as ice, stretched between us. Excuse me. Her voice rose an octave. I'm curious. What have you done for me that justifies my paying your mortgage for 4 years? That justifies utilities in my name for a convenient. The pause told me everything. She didn't know I'd heard those words on the porch. You misunderstood. No, I didn't, I interrupted, my voice steady. I heard you clearly. I heard Uncle Vernon. I heard Monroe. And I understood perfectly. Noah, you're being dramatic. We can discuss this when you're thinking rationally. I've never thought more rationally. Would you like me to email you the spreadsheet of my contributions to a house I don't own? It's quite comprehensive. Another silence. We're family, she finally said, as if those words should override everything. Convenient when you need money, not family when you're setting the Christmas table. I heard her inhale sharply. Your father would be disappointed. Don't. The word came out hard as flint. Dad valued honesty above everything. He'd be horrified by what you've done. The call ended with her hanging up. I sat motionless, heart hammering against my ribs, waiting for regret that didn't come. The doorbell rang again. Eleanor, from next door, casserole dish in hand, concern etching lines around her eyes. Bad day, she asked, seeing my face. Illuminating day, I corrected, stepping aside to let her in. Eleanor placed the dish on my counter. My grandmother's recipe. Comfort food. For when the world feels cold. She hesitated. Amelia called, said you might need company tonight. The simple kindness almost broke me. Eleanor, who I'd known less than a year, bringing food. Amelia, who texted earlier offering to help organize my documentation. James, who connected me with his lawyer friend for pro bono advice. This is what support looks like. Not manipulation disguised as family obligation. My phone pinged. An email notification. Important. Utility disconnection. Notice. December 24th. Christmas Eve. The day the lights would go out at my mother's house. The house I'd been paying for but was not welcome in. I didn't forward the notice to my mother. Some lessons need to be learned in darkness. Eleanor stayed for dinner. We ate her grandmother's casserole while she told me stories about her own family, the good, the bad, the complicated. No pretense of perfection. No manipulation disguised as love. After she left, I created a new spreadsheet. This one documented all forms of contact from my family since I canceled the mortgage payment. 43 texts. 17 calls. One social media post from Monroe about ungrateful family members at Christmas that didn't name me but might as well have had a spotlight on my face. My phone pinged. Again. A message from my cousin Tamsin, who'd been notably absent from the barrage. Check your email. Sent something you should hear. Delete after listening. The audio file downloaded slowly. I pressed play and heard the unmistakable sound of my family's voices around what must be the dining room table. She won't hold out, Vernon said. Noah craves approval too much. Just tell her what she wants to hear. I raised her better than this. My mother's voice, indignant. She knows her responsibilities. We can drag this out legally, Vernon added. Keep her on the hook financially, while we figure out next steps. Monroe laughed. Remember last Christmas when she ate in the kitchen with a paper plate and still paid the mortgage January 1st? Their laughter filled my apartment, but instead of cutting me open, it sealed something shut inside me, the last door through which doubt might enter. I saved the recording to my documentation file and sent Tamsin a single text, thank you for the truth. Then I silenced my phone and slept through the night for the first time in weeks. The Christmas tree in the corner of my apartment twinkled with white lights, casting dancing shadows across my walls. Michael Bublé crooned about a white Christmas from my speaker while I arranged sugar cookies on a festive platter, a tradition I'd reclaimed for myself this year. My silenced phone lit up on the coffee table. Again, and again, and again. I checked the time. 6:13 p.m. One more minute. I remembered Uncle Vernon's voice clearly from my childhood, explaining how electricity worked. It's not magic, Noah. Just a simple matter of connections and payments. The digital clock on my microwave flipped to 6:14. 200 miles away, in the house I'd paid for but never belonged in. The lights had just gone out. The carefully roasted turkey in my mother's double oven had stopped cooking. The Christmas playlist blaring from the expensive sound system I bought last year had fallen silent. The heat had ceased flowing through vents I paid to have cleaned every October. Everything stops when you stop paying for it. I poured hot water over a tea bag, the steam rising in delicate curls. The first voicemail arrived. Before I'd added honey. What have you done to us? My mother's voice hit a pitch I hadn't heard since I broke her favorite crystal vase at age 12. The power is out, the heat is gone. Everything just stopped working. Call me back immediately. I didn't. The tea warmed my hands as I curled into my window seat, Watching actual snow begin to fall, the first white Christmas in Georgia in 17 years. The universe has impeccable timing. Uncle Vernon's call came next. I let it go to voicemail. 2. Noah, this is Vernon. Whatever game you're playing needs to stop now. There are legal consequences for this kind of behavior. I've spoken with colleagues at the firm about your financial obligations. Call me back before you make things worse for yourself. Financial obligations. The same ones they were happy to saddle me with while excluding me from family photos. My phone buzzed with a text from Monroe. You're destroying everything we built. How could you do this to us at Christmas? Us. The word caught in my chest like a splinter. There was never an us that included me. I set my mug down and opened my laptop. 3 emails waited in my inbox, precisely as I anticipated. South Carolina Electric. Service disconnection confirmation. Greenville Gas and Heating. Account closure complete. Southeastern Cable and Internet. Service terminated successfully. All services linked to my name, my credit, my bank account for 4 years. All canceled with precise timing after the last dinner guest would have arrived, but before the main course could be served. I imagined the scene. Mother's famous crown roast sitting half-cooked in a darkened kitchen. Guests huddled in coats around a table set with the good china. The confusion turning to dismay as each call to utility companies revealed the same truth. Everything was in my name. Everything. My phone rang again. I answered this one. Hi, Noah. Amelia's voice carried the warm smile I'd come to treasure these past weeks. Just checking in. How are you holding up? I'm okay, I said, the words surprising me with their honesty. Actually, I'm better than okay. Good. Remember, you're welcome here anytime if you change your mind about dinner. Thank you. The gratitude caught in my throat. After we hung up, I forwarded the recording Tamsin secretly sent me, the one with Mother's voice clearly stating she's not family, to Vernon's boss at First Carolina Bank. I attached documentation of every mortgage payment, every utility bill, every home repair receipt from the past. For years. The subject line read, Potential Ethics Violation by Vernon Caldwell, Financial Exploitation of Family Member. Next, I sent similar documentation to the Greenville Community Foundation, where Mother served as treasurer. Their commitment to family values and financial integrity deserved to know about her approach to both. My final email went to Diane Robertson at the Greenville Tribune. The veteran reporter had covered financial abuse for years. I wasn't elderly, but the pattern was the same, using emotional manipulation to extract financial support. The irony didn't escape me. In trying to exclude me, they made me essential. In treating me as nothing but a convenient resource, they gave me the power to dismantle their comfort with a few clicks. My phone buzzed with a text from my cousin Tamsin. Uncle Vernon just got a call. He's been temporarily relieved of duties pending an internal review. Mom says Aunt Rosalind is freaking out. I set my phone down and watched the snow gather on my windowsill. For the first time in 4 years, Christmas Eve felt peaceful. They always said I wasn't really family. But family doesn't abandon you in the dark. The rapid knock at my apartment door came at 7:30 on a Tuesday morning. I was already dressed for work, coffee mug in hand, when I opened it to find my mother standing there. Her eyes were red-rimmed, mascara slightly smudged. She clutched her purse with white knuckles. Noah, she said, voice breaking. May I come in? I stepped aside without a word. For years of mortgage payments bought me at least this much civility. She walked into my living room, taking in the modest, but comfortable space with quick, darting glances. Her gaze lingered on the small Christmas tree in the corner, the first one that had ever been truly mine. We've always loved you, she said, tears flowing freely now. This is all a terrible misunderstanding. I took a slow sip of coffee, the bitter warmth steadying me. Is that why you said I wasn't family? Just convenient. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. You weren't meant to hear that. Clearly. Monroe speaks without thinking. Vernon was just being practical. You know how he is. I set my mug down on the counter. With a deliberate click. Mom, why are you here? She pulled a tissue from her purse, dabbed at her eyes. The power is still off, the water too. It's freezing in the house. I imagine it is. You can't just abandon us like this, not at Christmas. The irony nearly made me laugh. Interesting choice of words. She straightened her shoulders, shifting tactics. Vernon says you're legally obligated to continue the payments. As co-signer. Vernon is wrong, I said simply. But I've scheduled a meeting at the bank tomorrow morning at 9. You should come. Bring Vernon. Hope flickered across her face. You'll reinstate the payments? We'll resolve the situation. Permanently. She misinterpreted my calm for capitulation, relief washing over her features. As she left, my phone buzzed with a text from Monroe, way to ruin Christmas for everyone. We are heartbroken. Hope you're proud of yourself. I scrolled through my social media to find Monroe had posted a family photo from last year, one I wasn't in, with a lengthy caption about ungrateful family members who destroy holiday traditions. 3 relatives had already called to check on me. Their concern was transparent as glass. 2 hours later, the phone rang again. Eleanor. There's some man in a suit asking questions about you in the building, she warned. Wanted to know about your finances if you seem stressed. I told him to take a hike. Vernon, using his banking connections to dig into my financial status. When the phone rang again, it was Rosalind. The doctor says my blood pressure is dangerously high, she said without preamble. The stress of having no heat or water. If anything happens to me, I'll see you tomorrow at the bank, I interrupted. Ending the call. I opened my closet and selected my charcoal gray suit, the one I reserved for my most important client meetings. Then I checked my leather portfolio one more time. Mortgage statements, utility bills, receipts for the new roof and HVAC system, bank transfers for years of financial records meticulously organized. And the recording. Cousin Tamsin had sent it last week. After witnessing one too many family planning sessions about how to handle the Noah situation. She's not family, she's just convenient. My mother's voice, clear as crystal, followed by Vernon's chuckle. On Tuesday, the Carolina First Bank conference room felt smaller than I remembered. The polished oak table reflected the overhead lights as I arranged my documents in precise order. 9 o'clock approached. James, my financial advisor, sat beside me. His presence wasn't strictly necessary, but after 4 years of feeling outnumbered in my own family, I refused to walk into this room alone. The door opened. Rosalind entered first, wearing her Sunday best, a strand of pearls at her throat. Vernon followed, confidence radiating from his tailored suit and bank manager's smile. Behind them came Marcus Phillips, the regional director, Vernon's boss. Vernon faltered slightly at the sight of Marcus. This wasn't part of his plan. Thank you all for coming, I said, my voice steadier than I expected. I believe we can resolve this situation quickly. Vernon leaned forward. Noah, your mother is deeply distressed by your recent actions, cutting off utilities during winter, refusing to honor your financial commitments. My commitments? I opened the portfolio. Let's clarify those. I placed the first document on the table, mortgage statements showing $69,216 in payments over 4 years. The second document followed, utility bills totaling $14,522. The third, home repairs, new roof, HVAC system, appliances, $31,874. The total sank in. Marcus Phillips studied each document with professional interest. A significant investment in a property where I'm not welcome, I continued, as evidenced by this. I pressed play on my phone. The recording filled the room. We all agreed she's not welcome this Christmas. Just keep her on the mortgage, though. She'll keep paying even if we don't invite her. She's not family. She's just convenient. Rosalind's face drained of color as her own words echoed in the room. Vernon's professional mask slipped, revealing the raw calculation beneath. Marcus Phillips cleared his throat. "Mr. Harris," he addressed Vernon. "Did you facilitate this mortgage arrangement?" Vernon's smile tightened. "It was a standard co-signing situation, where you deliberately structured the agreement to benefit your sister while placing financial burden on your niece, Mr. Harris," Marcus asked. "While employed as a manager at this institution." The silence stretched. I slid the final document across the table. "I'm transferring full mortgage responsibility to my mother, effective immediately. I've paid for 4 years. The house is all yours now, Mom. So is the mortgage." Vernon's voice rose. "She can't afford." "That's not my concern," I interrupted. "Not anymore." Marcus stood. "Mr. Harris, I'd like to speak with you privately now." As Vernon was escorted from the room, my mother reached for my hand. I pulled away gently but firmly. "I don't understand," she whispered. "How will I keep the house?" "The same way most people do," I answered. "By paying for it yourself." I gathered my documents, nodding to James. As we walked toward the door, Rosalind called after me. "Noah, please. Where will you be for the remaining holidays?" I paused, one hand on the doorknob, and looked back at her. "Somewhere I'm welcome. Somewhere I'm family, not just convenient." The bank door closed behind me with a solid, satisfying click. For the first time in 4 years, my shoulders felt truly straight, my steps light and purposeful. The January air was cold against my face, but I didn't mind it. Freedom has its own particular warmth. A year later, I am celebrating a different Christmas. The sun slips through my blinds Christmas morning, painting golden stripes across my comforter. I stretch beneath the warmth, savoring the silence. No kitchen chaos. No passive-aggressive comments about my late arrival. Just peaceful quiet. In my modest Athens apartment, I pad to the kitchen in my flannel pajamas and wool socks, the hardwood cool beneath my feet. The coffee maker gurgles to life with a press of my finger. A gift to myself, programmable, with a thermal carafe that keeps coffee hot for hours. No rushing to pour a cup before someone empties the pot. My refrigerator holds ingredients I've never used for Christmas. Breakfast: thick-cut bacon, farm-fresh eggs, sourdough bread from the bakery down the street. The heavy cast-iron skillet, another recent purchase, heats on the stove as I slice strawberries for a side dish. "Merry Christmas to me," I whisper, cracking eggs into a bowl. The phone buzzes on the counter. Mom's name appears for the 3rd time this morning. I let it ring until silence returns. The family home belongs to her now in name and responsibility. The bank manager's face when I played that recording? She's not family. She's just convenient. It still brings a flutter of vindication to my chest, even a year later. My breakfast plate steams before me. At my small kitchen table, I bow my head, not in prayer, but in acknowledgement. I'm free. The therapy sessions began 2 weeks after the bank meeting. Dr. Laurel's office felt like neutral territory where I could finally speak the truth aloud. "You've been financially exploited," she said, plainly during our first session. No sugarcoating. No, but they're family. Just simple recognition of what happened. I bite into the sourdough toast, butter melting into the crunchy surface. The taste reminds me of Saturday mornings with Dad before he died, when we would walk to Thompson's bakery while Mom slept in. The memory comes without its usual sharp edge of loss. My new savings account already holds 2 mortgage payments worth of money. By next year, it might hold enough for a down payment. A home in my name only. The calendar on my wall shows appointments and plans I've made for myself. Financial literacy workshop at the community center. Coffee with Amelia from work. Dinner with Tamsin, the only cousin who earned back my trust after sending me that damning recording. Mom's attempts at reconnection fill my blocked call log. Uncle Vernon hasn't spoken to me since the bank manager escorted him from the building. His professional reputation unraveled quickly after the internal investigation. Monroe's social media still occasionally references family betrayal, but fewer relatives engage with his posts now. The house, that beautiful Victorian with its creaking porch steps and new roof I paid for, went on the market last month. Mom couldn't maintain the payments alone. Sometimes I drive past it on my visits to Greenville, watching as the for sale sign swings in the winter wind. The Christmas tree in my living room stands 3 feet tall, decorated with ornaments I chose myself. No heirloom glass angels. No traditions carried forward that serve someone else's story. Just twinkling lights reflecting possibilities in each shining ball. The women at the financial literacy program ask me questions I once couldn't answer for myself. How? Do you know when helping becomes hurting? What's the difference between responsibility and exploitation? I don't have perfect answers, but I share my story, watching recognition dawn in their eyes. I used to think if I gave enough, stayed quiet enough, they'd finally see me. But I've learned, you don't need to sit at someone else's table to know your worth. You can build your own and serve peace, not pain.